Jim Jordan, the House Wrecker. Brent Larkin, Cleveland, U.S. Representative Jim Jordan's reason for being is to destroy things, not build them. That's undoubtedly at the heart of why the Urbana-area Republican as of late Friday was still trying to gather support from enough of his colleagues to become Speaker of the House, even though he had emerged as the GOP nominee. Just maybe, deep in the recesses of their souls, the prospect of this country having its very own axis of evil frightened even them, as it should. Because that's precisely what would become of the United States with Donald Trump as president and Jordan as House Speaker. Placing second in the line of presidential succession a man willing to besmirch everything America stands for in service of Trump by rights should prove too risky for many of the House's 221 Republican members. Heading into the weekend as this column was being written, the clown show rolled on. First Jordan faded, then Louisiana Representative Steve Scalise quit the race. A Scalise speakership would have been as sordid Jordan's. In 2002, he attended a white supremacist rally organized by former Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke. Late Friday, U.S. Representative Austin Scott of Georgia joined the race, but with Jordan still in contention. Jordan then triumphed over Scott, emerging as the GOP's Speaker nominee on a reported 124-81 vote. The ultimate speakership outcome remains uncertain. Still, it's notable that, for many House members who regularly flirt with extremism, Jordan apparently remains a viable option to replace the ousted Speaker, Representative Kevin McCarthy. They're mistaken. Jordan is a follower, not a leader. That's why this one-trick pony was so willing to dive into any conspiratorial rabbit hole dug for him by the likes of Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon or Alex Jones. Eventually, Jordan either reappears empty-handed or emerges holding a fistful of lies designed mainly to harm some honest and hardworking American who loves his or her country. No one will ever describe Jordan more fittingly than the late Michael Gerson, an evangelical Christian, lifelong Republican and one-time chief speechwriter to former President George W. Bush. Writing for The Washington Post in 2019, Gerson framed Jordan as the truly Trumpian man, guided by bigotry, seized by conspiracy theories, dismissive of facts and truth, indifferent to ethics, contemptuous of institutional norms and ruthlessly dedicated to the success of a demagogue. Case closed. Ohio has a long history of sending legislators to Washington who viewed their role as working to pass laws designed to make the country a better place. Legislators like Charles Vanek, Francis Bolton, Lou Stokes, Dave Hobson, Don Pease, Steve Latourette, Ralph Regula and others. Jordan has played an altogether different role. In 2021, former House Speaker John Boehner was asked to name one of the political terrorists he had often complained about, the people who get lots of attention despite having no significant accomplishments. Jim Jordan especially, my colleague from Ohio, replied Boehner. I just never saw a guy who spent more time tearing things apart, never building anything, never putting anything together. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Boehner knew Jordan well. Both are Republicans with working-class backgrounds, both from Southwest Ohio. For years they represented adjoining congressional districts. Jordan's pursuit of the opening for House Speaker has rightly led to the revisiting of accusations related to his time as an assistant wrestling coach at Ohio State University from 1986 to 1994. At least 5 people, 4 of them former wrestlers and one a longtime friend, have said Jordan had to have known former OSU team Dr. Richard Strauss was on a sexual rampage that would include 1,429 sexual assaults and 47 rapes of student patients during Strauss's time at the school, 1978 to 1998, prior to his suicide in 2005. Jordan has consistently and adamantly denied accusations he knew about the abuse and didn't report it. But on October 10, the allegations resurfaced, with 4 of those former wrestlers telling NBC that Jordan lacks the character to be Speaker. And the Washington rumor mill suggests more on this matter will soon surface. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than upon learning Jordan wanted to succeed McCarthy, former U.S. Representative Liz Cheney, vice chair of the committee that investigated the deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, remarked, Jim Jordan knew more about what Donald Trump had planned for January 6 than any other member of the House of Representatives. Jim Jordan was involved, was part of the conspiracy in which Donald Trump was engaged as he attempted to overturn the election. The committee's final report reached a similar conclusion about Jordan's role in one of the more shameful chapters in American history. Jordan, now chair of the House Judiciary Committee, defied the committee's lawfully issued subpoena calling him to supply documents and testify before the committee. No one who genuinely cares about the country and its future would want Jordan as Speaker. The same applies to Democrats, even though Jordan's winning the job would almost certainly prove catastrophic for Republicans in the 2024 congressional elections. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than the failed congressional campaign of Janet Garrett helps explain why. In 2018, the retired Oberlin school teacher ran a quixotic campaign to defeat Jordan, raising the very same issues Boehner and others had about Jordan's lack of either character or accomplishments. Garrett worked hard, but never had a chance. Jordan received 65% of the vote in a district gerrymandered to guarantee him a victory. Garrett hosted only one fundraiser, a small event in her hometown. Nevertheless, without solicitation, money from donors in 48 states poured into her campaign. In all, Garrett received contributions totaling $700,000. The only reason we raised a bunch of money was because he is so despicable, Garrett told me last week. He's nothing but a bomb thrower, a key part of this whole Republican push towards authoritarianism. Jordan is bad for the country, bad for Ohio. With luck, those considering Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House will keep that in mind. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Brent Larkin was the Plain Dealer's editorial director from 1991 until his retirement in 2009. Send a letter to the editor, which will be considered for print publication.